I'd say maybe 10 to 15, which I know isn't enough.
Dog, I hate to laugh at you, brother, but I know you saw guys who 3 days in, their bodies just shut. All right, folks, man, Mr. A is going to kick butt. Trust me, I've been doing this a long time, man. We'll get him on a path to greatness. You'll be hearing about him in 3 or 4 years, going to Army OCS, murdering it. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. Hey, man, make sure you take a second to go check out the masterclass. If you're interested in SEAL training, we can't get you out there with not doing enough work and not being prepared. It just ain't going to work. Get that masterclass. Get on the phone with me. Let's get you ready to go out there and crush bugs. Hey, other thing is, you know what we building around here, man. It was a great week. Had a cat picked up for Air National Guard Aviation. Another cat got picked up for Army OCS. Just telling you, folks, this is where it's at, man. We build champions for life. Leading up to Buds, how much were you running a week?
Before Buds, so I did a little bit of track in high school, and then I played football. I tried to play football in college for a little over a year, I was a red shirt. I never got to officially start anywhere.
Do you have your college degree?
No, so I have half my associates. I stayed in college for about a year, and then I
Okay.
decided to go.
Okay.
So my background was mostly sprinting.
Okay.
Like when I PST'd, I killed the mile and a half. I was using the 830s, 840s, even for being around 200 pounds.
Okay. How tall are you?
However, 5'11".
Okay, 5'11", 200. Okay.
But I would say my biggest downfall when it came to Buds was just obviously I would say just the amount of training I wasn't doing before. The attrition rate, I mean, obviously
How many miles a week were you running?
I'd say maybe 10 to 15, which I know isn't enough.
Dog, I hate to laugh at you, brother.
Yeah.
10 to 15 miles a week. So have you seen the PDF at all? Have you seen my PDF?
I believe I glanced over it a little bit. So I found out about you before I went, and I think I remember, if I don't quote it right, you said not to go to Buds unless you were sub-9 on the run in both the swim.
Yep.
And I don't know how I contracted with a 10:30. I was awful in the water, and
Oh God.
yeah, I was awful in the water. So
How
the
much
time
were
I
you
went,
swimming? So you were running 10 miles a week. How much were you swimming?
I would try to get in the pool at least 3-4 days a week.
Okay, so how far, like total distance swimming in 4 days of swimming a week?
Probably less than 500 to 1,000 yards a session. So
Okay, so 2,000. So I just want to put this in kind of quantitative headspace. So at a minimum, we're gonna go out to Buds with 50 miles a week and 2,500 or 25,000 meters of swimming a week. Okay, you're gonna swim twice a day, 5 days a week, and you're gonna run twice a day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You're gonna run once a day on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Saturdays, you're gonna have 12-mile, 15-mile run, 8-mile run, somewhere in there. Okay. I think everybody is doing a disservice, right? Like this Bud's prep class. You're not running every day. Okay.
when I went during COVID, we couldn't swim every day.
Nope.
Big Navy took away the swimming pools from us when I was
Yep.
there. So we swam maybe twice a week some days just because, the Navy didn't want us to get sick or whatever during COVID. And when I went, it was snowing in prep. So we would run.
Did you go to prep? Did you go to prep in Great Lakes?
Yeah, I was one of the last
Yep.
classes to go to Great
Yep.
Lakes.
Absolutely. It was snowing up there in the winter. Hard to train in the winter, Great Lakes. Hard to run fast, hard to swim fast. The swimming pool's indoors up there, but still, it don't matter.
And when I went to Coronado, I mean, we went from swimming like 1,000 meters to, obviously, like the half mile, the 1 mile, and 2 mile open ocean swims. And I could clearly tell I was in the back of the pack for most of the swims. I didn't start getting better in the water until about my third 2 mile. But even then, it was too late. I hadn't done the prior work needed to, where swimming wasn't a fatigue for me. I would die almost every swim.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Doug, you telling me you swimming 3-4 times a week, 500 yards, and you're running 10 miles a week. Your body doesn't have the volume. So it's crazy, man. A lot of people out there kind of bash the program, right? Like I didn't make the program. The program got given to me when I got the buds because I was so out of shape. Okay.
Mhm.
And I modified a little bit. I made it a little bit better. I've added a bunch of shit to it, right? But at the end of the day, that's the Naval Academy program from the mid 90s. Okay. That's the same program that all them cats went from the Naval Academy to the buds with and murdered buds. Okay. I just shared it on my Instagram, man. There's a video out there. This dude's talking about elite marathon runners running 120 miles a week. 120 miles away. I was like, God damn. So when people tell me like 50, 60 miles is a lot, that's too much. I'm like, dude, you're going into an environment that requires 75 miles of travel every week. And you telling me that 60 is too much. Well, I know this because you know, we haven't talked about what happened and how you got out of there, but I know you saw guys who 3 days in, their bodies just shut down. They couldn't do no more push-ups. They couldn't run. They couldn't get out of bed. They were like in a coma, basically.
Afterwards, I started a marathon program up in Carlsbad. So then after that, I started running anywhere from 25 to 35, even up to 40 miles a week. And I felt like had I done something like that prior to going, it would have been a lot different story. Um,
Absolutely. You have no chance. If you don't go in there with the bare minimums, 50 miles a week, you don't have a chance, right? Unless you just some other animal, unless you just some other kind of spirit animal from fucking another world. If you don't have the basic minimums, you're not going to make it. Okay. So talk to me. You went to prep. Did you make it to phase?
I did. I made it to first phase, and I was out after a little over 4 days.
Okay. So you didn't make it through the first week.
No.
Did you quit? What happened?
Yeah, I ended up quitting. So I passed out during the 50, which is no problem, but then I passed out during knot tying, and there was an instructor at the time who followed me around after because I failed with him, and he kept following me around. He's like, "There's no point in you even making it through this because you're gonna fail out in second phase." And then I kept having like mess ups, I guess you could say. So like my swims, I came in last swim pair again for
Okay.
the second time in a row,
Okay.
and he
Just poor physical performance.
poor physical performance.
Okay.
But as far as like boats and logs, I had done everything physically to get myself prepared, but I underestimated the water big time, and I actually had somebody who was a former, not a former, but a current first class at the time who before I got contracted, he's like, "You're not ready to go," and he told me you need to be in the pool. And I kind of, in an arrogant way, kind of ignored it. And when I even got to prep or not prep, when I got to Coronado, he was there, and I told him my times, and he's like, "Yeah, good luck, man. Like you didn't do what I told you to do." And looking back on it now, it's like, yeah, I would even tell somebody like who wants to go in the pipeline now, like unless you're in those sub nines, especially with how competitive it is now, the monsters that go there, and obviously the guys on peds and stuff like that, you're not going to be able to compete at that level.
You're not going to be able to. If you're not swimming 2,500 meters a week, 25,000 a week, you're not going to make it. Right. And that's interesting. You say that, right? As a guy that went and didn't make it, I think it's hard, right? Because I've had a couple guys go that were fully ready and they still didn't make it. And I think that's a little bit easier to take when you were prepared and you went than it is when you show up completely unprepared and then you don't make it, right? Like you almost feel like you didn't give yourself a chance to be successful, basically.
Oh wait,
You
one
know?
hundred percent.
Yeah. So the guy was following you around. So how'd you end up quitting?
Just a verbal DOR.
No, no, I'm saying what was like, was it a certain event? Had it been eating at you for a couple days?
I mean, yeah, I would say that psychology, he definitely worked despite like my attitude of like, nah, like no, what you say. We did another swim, and then he was still just like chewing me out. And also like the buildup was I didn't take care of my feet during bow, so my feet started bleeding. And then I started developing stress fractures in my feet. And
Yep.
I know that that was just because of the acclimation and the buildup from prep to
From 10 miles to 75 miles instantly if you ain't ready, stress fractures.
and I've still been dealing with those even to this day. My
Are,
feet.
are you, how long ago was this?
This is 2 years ago.
Okay. Are you on calcium, glucosamine, and a multivitamin?
I am now. Yes, I
Okay.
wasn't taking vitamins prior.
Okay.
Um, about 6 months ago, I started on this brand that I take right now.
It's all good. I use Walmart shit. Are you married?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. All right. All right, so you jumped out of buds. No, doesn't look like you got no scars. I got some dudes that DOR and they got scars. So what do you want to talk about, brother? I appreciate you talking about kind of going to buds and failing and the reasons, but let's talk about what you want to talk about and light this up and see what we can help you with.
Okay, so it's really weird. I went UNDES for 2 years, which is by far like you definitely pay the
Ooh,
price.
wait a minute. Let's talk about that UNDES life, baby. Okay, so you went UNDES. What was your first? You go on ship first?
Um, I went to so when I dropped, all that was left, and this is, guys watching, like this is the price if you don't make it. All that was left for me was UNDES Air, UNDES E, and UNDES CPAC, which basically means you're either working with the BMs, the engineers at the bottom of the ship, or you're on the flight deck.
Yep.
I chose the flight deck because at least I'd get to see the sun.
Okay.
So they sent me to Pensacola for some APAC school. It's just basically a checklist, making sure you don't die on the flight deck, and if you do, it's not their fault.
Yep.
And yeah, I was on DES for 2 years. By far,
Chip and paint.
chip, you name it, chip and
All right,
paint.
so talk to me because I want you to explain what do you use to chip paint?
Stuff that's even worse than like going to Walmart or Lowe's. Just
Do you have a needle gun or did you have like a hammer?
and it just depended. Sometimes we had you could use a needle gun in some spaces. It would be considered like a fire hazard, so you had
Yep.
to get a little chip, a little block, and just chip away paint.
Yep. So chip and paint. Now here's the one that a lot of people don't know about. Did you have to go mess crank for six months?
I did have to go cranking, yes.
So mess cranking basically is you got to go work in a galley, but you're the lowest form of life in the galley. So you got to show up to work at like 2 a.m, start baking bread. Like was it 2 a.m to like?
So I got out of that because I was a larger guy and I was like, okay, maybe I can help with like because they have a thing called JOD. It's basically where you deliver you basically deliver the daily load of food. You
Okay.
take it all the way from the bottom up, and so it's very physical. You're walking up 6 flights of stairs, and once you get done with that, you're out for the day. So I lucked out there, and honestly, that was more enjoyable. Cranking to me was more enjoyable than working with Undes.
Absolutely. Both of them are awful. But if you were in the galley or doing dishwashers or peeling potatoes, right, you wouldn't be saying that.
Yeah.
I had a young lady try to commit suicide on, I want to say Undes, but that ain't it. Mess cranking. I said, hey man, I need somebody to do 1 month of mess cranking. She got 3 months left. We can't leave her in there. And they were like, no problem. So I had 5 guys step up. We divided up. They all had 3 weeks in there. One of my E4s went up there. One of my E5s went up there for 2 weeks. And then we got her back in the division because she just wasn't doing well mess cranking, because I was on a little ship. They had the mess crank for, they went to work at 2 and they got off at like 9. They got their 5 hours of sleep and they were right back at it. So
yeah, it's definitely insane how mentally challenging it is. I would say being on DES is probably the worst time of my life. And like everybody says they've been through things. I've been through things and I would never wish that upon anybody.
Absolutely. What are you doing now?
So in that whole thing, I put down my name for a job, CTT. It's a Intel rate. I put it down 2 years ago. So when I dropped that I would be a prospect for it. However, I didn't get picked up until after 2 years. And so they finally picked me up and then they sent me here. It's just an Intel rate. So I don't know how to explain it without going into.
No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. You in the Intel community. I know what you're doing. How much time you got left on your listment?
So I got until 2026.
Ooh.
So yeah, that was a tricky stipulation is I've extended to accept this new duty.
Okay. So is your year group closed already yet? Do you know that?
It opened back up. However, in order to go back, this is the tricky part. I would have to re-enlist in the Navy, but that doesn't guarantee me getting back to buds. Basically, I would go to the CT managers and they'd be like, yeah, we can try to get you there after you re-enlist, but you'll have to go to this duty station first and then submit your package there.
Yep.
Which to me is like, I don't want to deal with what ifs, especially in the Navy. I've seen some of your videos. So this is where I'm at. I'm leaning towards going back there, but I've also I'm in full-time school, so I'm trying to finish up my associates.
I was about to say, Like if you want my best answer for you, like talking to you for 15 minutes, okay? Bang out your degree. You got 3 more years. You will have no problem. Go to Grand Canyon College. They got an awesome military program. Strayer Online got an awesome military program. There's one more that got an awesome military program, right?
Mhm.
They'll give you a ton of credits for all the shit you got. Get your degree, get out and go to the Army as an officer.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that was what I was gonna bring up because I watched a lot of your videos recently, and like one thing you highlighted on is like in the Navy, in which I can vouch for, there is no such thing as like switching jobs that easy or volunteering for training. It's so I tried to when I was on DES submit a package for buds, and they're like, no, you're gonna serve your time here. We're not gonna sign off on anything.
Yep, they got you, bro. UNDES, they're not trying to let you go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this: how old are you?
24.
Are you good? Because you be going in the Army as an officer at 27. You good? You hit that all day. I just had 2 guys. I had a dude in the Navy go, he's going to Army officer, and my other dude in the Navy, I mean, the other dude in the Army got picked up for Army officer. So, like, that's awesome, right? Like, I would just tell you, like, you're married, okay? How long you been married?
A little over 1 year.
Okay. I'm just telling you, you go in that life, you ain't gonna be married. I don't care what you say. I don't care who you are. I don't care how long you've known your wife. I don't care. I know one dude that stayed married in the SEAL teams. And for that one dude, I know 4 dudes that got divorced after 30 years of marriage in the SEAL teams. 4 of them. Okay. I watched the Master Chief lose 70 pounds because he told his wife he would get out at 30 years. 30 years and 1 day, she filed for divorce and told him, nope, you never getting out. Okay. So just keep that in mind too. What do you want to know? What do you need from me?
So I'm at 25 credits, so I'm going to a school back in Texas, originally where I'm from. This is where it kind of gets tricky because with the job that I'm doing now, it's not necessarily shore based, so I'd be on a ship. Um, I was thinking I was too old at 24 to try and put in an officer's package, like by the time I was 27, 28.
What, for the Army?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Because I know for buds trying to go to SOAS, the cutoff's usually 28, 29.
I mean, you can try to go to SOAS. I'm just going to tell you though, okay? You right back in the same boat, right? Like you right back in the same boat trying to go to SOAS. And here's the problem with SOAS. You go to SOAS, once you get to 90 credit hours, you can go to SOAS, right? That last year of school. So let's say you go screen for SOAS, okay? I know 2, 3 enlisted dudes that went and screened for SOAS. The problem with SOAS is you have to be in hell week shape. So 60 miles a week, 25,000 miles of swimming, and you better be riding a bike 2 or 3 times or once a day for about 30, 40, 50 minutes, okay? Better be on the assault bike for 30, 40, 50 minutes a day because it's hell week for a week. And so I think it's maybe the most challenging program that is in all of special warfare because you're going straight to hell week and everybody's bodies are shutting down on Tuesday. And if you're getting a bunch of officers to shut down on Tuesday, then a whole bunch of people didn't show up ready for the pie, right? Like they weren't ready to eat pie when they got there. So in my opinion, like unless you're a dude, like you call me, you a sophomore in college right now, you 22, 21 years old, you want to make a run at SEAL training, let's do it, right? But other than that, like I'm going to the Army, man. Like I'm going to the Army. My dude's in the Army. Like my dude's in the Army. OCS. I got 11 dudes in the same bullet class right now. Okay, 11. 1 West Point dude, 10 ROTC or OCS dudes. Okay, they can go to any school they want. Ranger School, Airborne, SEER. If they got time, they can go do this other stuff because the way the schedule is, they got time, they can go to school. And I'm like, you ain't getting that nowhere else. And you're competing against a bunch of, in my opinion, average people in the officer corps and Army because it's so big. So you ain't got to be, like in the SEAL teams, they're making 50 officers a year. And, like in the Army infantry, I guess they're probably making 5,000 officers a year in the Army infantry. I'm just taking a shot at that. But like, You got to be one of 5,000 to go in the infantry in the Army. You got to be one of 50 to go Navy SEALs. Right? That's why I say, like, the opportunity, in my opinion, in the Army is absolute. Absolute opportunity, right? If you're in the Navy, like, be a Navy SEAL. You know, if you're an officer, you get to go infantry. My two dudes in it, Ant Lanier said, hey, man, I don't want to be Ranger no more. And Jim is trying to be a PA in the Green Berets. Okay. But then at one point, he was like, I don't even know if I want to be a Green Beret no more. I'm just going to be a PA. Okay. So it just gives you more opportunity to try to figure out what you want to do. You know, obviously, you're going to make a lot more money, and you're not going to play the Navy games, you know, trying to go back to buds and roll dice again, you know?
Yeah, I mean that was my biggest thing because like one thing going to buds now, I would still be enlisted. And like watching some of your videos, like enlisted life does suck, and I know that, and especially like if you try to go to the army enlisted, it'd just be you're an idiot, especially if you haven't
Yeah,
degree.
yeah, yeah. Bad deal. Especially if you're going to college. I mean, I just tell you, you ain't stupid. Just grind it out, man. Right? Like look at your wife, look at yourself in the mirror and just say, hey man, I'm gonna better my life. I'm gonna grind this shit out. I'm gonna grind this life out. I'm gonna grind this degree out. I got 3 years. It'll be easy to graduate. You go sign up at where are you going to school in Texas?
Community college in Dallas.
Okay, so as soon as you get done with that community college, right? Just bang it out. And then look at the two military programs. I think Grand Canyon got a great military program. But like just bang it out. It'll take you like no time at all. They got like little 8-week classes. You know?
Mhm.
8-week, 3-credit classes. You bang it out. One class every 8 weeks, you're done. Two
Yeah, I'm
classes
trying
every
to
8 weeks, you're done. You
trying
know?
to do it as fast as I can. So
But
like
you
with
ain't listen, you don't have to do it fast, Mr. A, right? You got 3 years. Just get it done. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about the speed of it. You got 3 years. You ain't going nowhere for 3 years. Navy, if you get picked up by the Army for officers, the Navy ain't gonna let you out early. No chance. No chance. My dudes in San Diego, they told him you can get out on your EAOS. Okay. He just got out December 31st. It's his last day. He's back in San Antonio. Played football for me at Incarnate Word. He's going in the Army. He's got to go to basic, and then he'll go to OCS, and he'll be on his way. What other questions you got?
I mean, I think that was pretty spot on. Sorry if that was really short. I was just really trying to spit and see on that because yeah, like I have half my school done. My plan on transferring to UT. That's why I was trying to speed up my community college. But yeah, I mean,
If you're going to transfer to UT, that's a great school. Go ahead. If you get a UT online degree, go ahead. Right? If you can figure out how to get your degree from UT, that's an awesome degree. Go get it. Right? I'm just saying Grand Canyon because it's a lot more functional for cats in the military to go bang it out.
okay.
But if your goal is UT, I'm never going to turn you away. UT is an awesome school. Go get it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do this, Mr. A. Stay in contact with me. Right? As you got questions, just shoot me a text. We'll jump on. We'll talk.
I do have a question about like just general fitness. So obviously, people would in the back of their mind, oh, I have 3 years, and then they'll probably try to get in shape the last year. Obviously, I'm not trying to do that. So would you say that you like the PDF that you have, is that meant for long-term training?
So this is what I would tell you to do. Okay. I would run 3-5, 3-5, 3-5. Okay.
3 miles, 5 miles, 3 miles,
Yep.
5 miles.
Saturday, I'd run 8 to 12 miles. Get myself up to 8 to 12 on Saturday, right?
Mhm.
2-3 weeks of 8s, 1 week of 12, right? And I would hold that pattern. Just hold it. Okay. Every now and then, you got the PST, so you can time yourself in a mile and a half, see what your mile and a half time is, right? Work on stride length. Like I tell everybody, the best thing you can do at the end of the run is just work on stride length for 800. So stride it out really long, open up your stride length, and then get in the pool 5 days a week. Swim 10 100s 5 days a week. Once you get your interval down to like 115, swim 115s for a week, and then bump it back up to 125s, 130s. It'll be the slowest thing you've ever done in your life. Stay there for a couple weeks, maybe a month, 2 months, and then work it back down to 115s.
Is this CSS or freestyle?
Freestyle. We only swim freestyle. We don't swim CSS ever. like a little bit at night, but we don't worry about it because all you're really trying to do is get your body used to the volume, right? So 3.5 is 8, 8 is 16, 5 is 23, and 12 is like 35 miles a week. Easy day, right? You're gonna swim, you know, roughly 5 to 7,000 miles, 7,000 yards or meters a week, and you're gonna be good. You know, like that's how it's gonna be. So, and I would say this, like I wouldn't put in the back of my head I'm going to do anything. I would just be like, all right, I got to stay in general fitness. Now, here's the problem, you guys. Go on a ship, all bets are off, brother.
That's where I've been lately. I've been in training, but I'm going to a sub. So
You going
yeah.
to a sub.
So it's not necessarily just one. I'm like available to all, because of my job that they need me to go on certain missions only for 2 weeks at a time, and then I come back home.
Okay.
But
How familiar are you with the submarine community?
not at all.
Okay. I'm telling you right now, you ain't going nowhere for fucking 2 weeks. They lying to you. I don't care what they telling you. Submarines do not go in the water for 2 weeks at a time. They go in the water for fucking 2 months at a time. Okay. So just get your mind right because you ain't working out on no submarine. And you're gonna work 18-hour days. That's the work shift on a submarine. 18 hours and 6 sleep. That's it. Okay. It's not like your normal ship you were on. Ain't gonna be no fucking 4 hours off. Like you're not gonna have no, like you're gonna sleep and work. That's it. So just get your mind right. And then I would just tell you, just try to stay in the best shape you can, right? Like you're gonna have a lot of ups and downs. And that's why I would say, like, to me, the Army just is so much more pliable, it's so much more doable. You just, you know, like you run a 12-minute mile, you one of the fastest dudes. My dude, you know, the Stanford kid, you seen any of the Stanford kids videos? He went to SOAS 2 years ago. So he's in the Army right now. He's in basic. He's the fastest runner in his platoon, and he is a terrible runner. Right? But he's in SEAL shape, so he murdering it. Okay. He's gonna finish up basic here, and then he's gonna roll on to IOB or to OCS. But like that's the answer, man. Like, let's make life easier, not harder.
Mhm.
And then if you want to go, you know, you want to go Army Rangers or Green Berets, you just fucking raise your hand and go do it. Ain't no bullshit like SEAL training, like you gotta fight to try to get to train. Like, man, they'll let you go to RASP like that. Raise
Yeah,
your hand. I want to go to
because
RASP. Boom, you in RASP. You
trying to
know?
be an Army Green Beret officer, doing the transition, because like you said in Buds, it's like not only are you fighting just to get there, but if you don't make it to get back, they can only allow such a small number of guys from previous classes back.
They're not
And they're
letting
all
anybody
competing.
back that quit right now, Mr. A. Like, they're not letting nobody back that quit. That's why I was shocked when you said that they were talking about letting you come back. Because if you quit, they're not letting you come back.
It might just be because I got sent a general letter about it, just because of some of the things that happened in the particular class I was in.
No question, no question. COVID was an odd duck. So I'm not saying that you're not going to have the opportunity to go back. I'm just saying that, like, right now, if you quit, they're not letting you come back. And the Army's that way. Like, if you quit at RAS, they're not letting you come back. If you quit in the Q course or an AFAS, they're not letting you come back. All right, motherfucker, kick ass, get your degree. Okay,
Yes,
let's
sir.
start with that. Get your shit straight, get your mind right. Make sure you spend some time with your wife, right? Because the submarine life ain't good on wives.